pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. So now we'll call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll take this time to review the paperwork for the Watkins Glen Motor Racing Research Council. So what I have in front of me, what we all should have in front of us, is an environmental assessment form, a special use application, and a waterfront assessment form, and also some imagery. And there's a letter too, but I don't know if we need to consider that or not.
I believe that the letter is the narrative responses to the special use permit.
Got it.
So there's further information.
Okay. So we'll look at the, what's that?
Would you like to have them kind of issue it first and then?
What's that?
Would you like to have them kind of?
Oh,
run
go for it.
through?
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
that's why I pointed at them.
Oh, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Margaret Lawrence. I'm with the International Motor Racing Research Center. Thank you very much for having us here tonight. Also with me is Brian Penny. He is with Welliver and very familiar with this project and has done the estimating for the construction. And then we also have Don Canone and Ben Wolfing with SWBR, our architect firm, and they'll talk about the project and give you a little more of the details with the drawings and the renderings. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to them to give you a brief overview.
Hello, everyone. All right, I direct your attention to this site plan that we have come up with. The big orange block right here is the proposed new building. It sits at the corner of Franklin Street and 2nd Street, and we have provided parking around the north and west sides of the building. The lot right now gets pretty steep towards the back, so we provide a retaining wall around the back side of the parking to maintain the correct elevations on either side. The west side of the parcel above the retaining wall will be planted with shade trees and ornamental grasses to provide some sort of screening to the top of the retaining wall. Safety devices will be provided on top in the form of railing, most likely, to prevent anyone from getting over the top. We have 30 parking spaces total, along with 2 accessible spots. There's a small entry plaza right here just north of the building. There'll be some trees and vegetation provided there, as well as likely a piece of local artwork. The sidewalks in front and on 2nd Street will be improved. The one on 2nd Street will be ADA accessible, 5-foot minimum width. Towards the top, it gets quite steep, so we would likely propose a set of stairs to get you to a platform at the top here to match the other side of the street. Stormwater will be handled internally to this site and piped out to the local storm sewer system. Other will be local utilities provided. Any questions?
Not
Where
in
is
general.
the existing house that's on one or
The house is no longer there. However, it's like right around the midpoint.
So that has been demolished already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can kind of see from this, the driveway was right here and the house was right here.
What about the parking lot with Jared, or 29 East?
Yeah, this parking lot would replace their use of this part of the lot, and we're also adding these spots here. Not sure how the parking arrangement would work going forward, but we are providing the minimum number required for this spot.
So the parking lot that 29 East is using currently is part of this parcel?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The property line is literally the building line on the north side. to our parcel.
So the parking then would belong to you, and it wouldn't be a shared parking lot with 29 Meat?
I sure that answers
It would
that.
be our, yeah, I mean,
It would be
it
ours.
would be our parking lot, but certainly, if their guests needed it, we're not going to restrict it. But-
The only reason I ask is just because within the zoning law, there is something about shared parking, so, you know, it's up to you what you want to do,
Right.
you know. If you want to do shared parking, just bear in mind there's something in the zoning law about that.
There was intentions to allow it to happen when it would be appropriate for them to use it.
Yeah.
If there's a function at this site and they needed the 30 spots, I think they would have to knock on the door and suggest maybe that they need to find alternate parking for their, or put a sign up that says that. But from what I understood early on in this project, there was always the intention to allow them to be neighborly and be friendly with them
Okay.
and their clients.
Because I'm sure we will share some.
Yeah, right?
Definitely.
What are the hours of operation going to be for that?
We will operate 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7 days a week in season, and then we will have limited hours from probably January to April, open to the public. We still will have staff there, our archive collection, we'll have people working on the second floor, but in terms of visitation, it will be limited on off-season. We do anticipate having some special events in the evening, but that would be, by appointment and schedule.
And there's something I just want to add on there. So for the purposes of like information gathering here, it doesn't have to be like posted for you, but the hours of operation should encompass the full-time, like the fullest extent that people would be on the site. So if you're opening at 9, but you have employees there before, if you're closing at 5 p.m., but you have special appointments for events after the fact, those should be reflected before the board, just so that they have an understanding of the latest possible it would be open. What I've seen in other boards is like, that way you don't have to kind of just about, if you say you're gonna be closed by 5, you have stuff going there after.
Sure, understood. I mean, it would be, again, evening events, and it wouldn't go late into the evening, just for a special event or occasion. We would not be there before 8 o'clock in the morning, and definitely only open to the public 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And then beyond that, how long do you think people would be doing something within the building after 5 p.m.?
I would say 9 or 10 o'clock at the latest. I mean,
Okay.
we're not looking to be, open much later than that. We're not going to have a liquor license or anything like that, so, it would be for private parties in theory.
Okay.
So we are hopeful to have either, a preliminary site plan approval this evening, if possible. We are applying for Upstate Revitalization Initiative grant for this project, which we hope to have the grant application in place at the end of January. And that would be one of the areas that the grant application would be interested in, to know that we've been before the planning board and that we have at least preliminary approval, if not full site plan review approval by the end of June.
Okay.
You said by June or by January?
January.
I have one quick question. This building will be sprinkled, correct?
Oh, yes, actually, we will have a fire suppression system on the second floor. Our archives,
Oh.
fire and water are our biggest concern. So this will have a elaborate system in it, yes.
What is the second floor access usually in the back? Is it stairs or what is the, like on the site plan overview and the
Yes.
L100, it says second floor access and there's like some sort of door there, but it's unclear about how.
So this is the second floor, could be direct access to the archive area, but there's 3 double doors on the higher
So
level.
I think what she's asking, are you going to be able to just walk right up to Madison Avenue?
Yes, so this would be at street level of Madison Avenue.
Yes, thank you, Dennis.
So Madison Avenue side, it will look like a one-story space,
Mhm.
lower than the existing building that was there before.
Right.
But that would be the way for us to bring the archival in, is that little, excuse me, is this little area right here, straight across.
Mhm.
And if I kind of here, that would be equivalent to this door right here that would bring everything in and bring it right into the archival space that's right in there.
And that's on the second floor, correct?
This is second,
Too far, that's
lower
first.
level. This is actually, I can say it with rather confidence that when we designed this upper level, it was going to be restricted to appointments only or people who would have access to it, and the people who are doing the archiving would have a space up here, but this isn't public spaces unless they've got appointments to be up there. And then there's spaces for them to do research, there's libraries and other areas, but this is purely IMRRC employees would be occupying the majority of that whole second floor. There are a couple of spaces, and I'm not gonna, right here, which is probably one of the prime locations, it's right in this corner, it's a multi-purpose room, it's a great view. That may be where the car clubs or whatever will do a meeting there in the evening hours, and that's typically what we were talking about.
There will be no car storage on the second floor as well?
Sorry?
No car storage on the second
No,
floor?
zero. We're archiving.
Right.
There's no room.
Yeah, we actually,
You have that much stuff?
we do.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
We're in 3 locations right
Yeah.
now, and some is not climate controlled. So in order to protect the archives, we have to make the transition to a climate controlled space. And all 3 locations will be consolidated and moved into this space. It will be almost fully maximized at the start, but we will have a little room for expansion.
This is gonna have movable storage. You know, have you ever seen the library storage?
Yeah.
That's the kind of storage that they're planning on putting here, so the floors will be reinforced for all of this, but we need the most we can possibly get. And I will tell you this, that there's donations that are coming in daily, and we'll outgrow this very quickly.
Yes.
I'll admit it. Just a little bit of history. I started this project 16 years ago, and it was an addition out at the library. And the concepts that we came up with were incredible. We were going to dig a lower level, but then realized it was water. We brought it up to, we were going to store cars, we were going to have events, but everything kind of just went away after that. And then when this project came up, the focus was now on archival. And it became very apparent that that was the main reason for this property, was for archival and research. Even though there'll be a great amount of display areas down at the lower level, the research is what really needs to keep this building going. Or the continued research from where it is now to a new building that's got a very prominent facade and fits right in with everything else that's going on that you can see out through your window.
I think it'll be a great addition to this area
Yeah.
of Franklin Street. There's a lot of tourism that happens here, especially with the
Every event.
motel
Oh, yeah.
not too far away. You know, you've got all your little bars and stuff that are around, so I think it'll be a very good addition.
You know, when we started to create this project, I remember we came into a room like this, table like this, probably 4 of us just sat down and said, all right, what's the best approach? And we started to take a look, not at what this building could look like, but what's the precedent about every other building that's out here. Then we took a look at what the restrictions were and realized we could make this look really, really like it's been here for a while. And I think that was one of the key components of this, is it wants to look like, and then the other thing that we did was we wanted to also make it look like similar to what the building was before, right? You all remember the building that was coming down around us. And those of you that have had the pleasure to get inside there or even understand what the history is of that building, does everybody understand the history of that building?
History,
Why?
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let me share something that you all know. You know what a Corvette is, right?
Yeah.
It was invented on this piece of property in that location.
Wow.
And that's probably one of the most significant things about why this project and its location means so much to IMRC. It is an incredible place and an honor to be located in a place like this.
I don't think the old building was that memorable.
Were you around during the fires? Had you ever been inside? You might have
A
been
little
there.
bit, but
There were things that were charred in there that, as I'm walking through, I'm looking up and I'm backing off, saying, I don't want to be in here. And we did everything we could to try to save and salvage the building.
yeah.
And then finally, after a while, we worked with our friends at Welliver, and we said, this building's probably got to come down.
Yeah.
And then it was the opportunity to create something far nicer.
I was referring to, as you got farther back in the
Yeah.
building towards the hill, it got weirder
Yeah.
and weirder.
It sure did. I spent less time back there. Animals or people just living there maybe, or
Yeah,
whatever. We saw
yeah.
lots of things happening that I don't want to repeat.
I think that takes us into our question about the remediation. The DEC said that there's something going on with that.
There's a soil and groundwater.
I think that what we learned after we leveled the building or after we raised
Yeah, I was
the building
wondering
is that there may be something underneath there, but during our construction, we'll absolutely know what's there. There's no evidence of anything, but we're gonna do a geotest to kind of understand if there's hazardous soil that's in there that has to be remediated, or if there's a tank somewhere that nobody knew about, that isn't documented on anything. But I can assure you that with the team that's on this, anything that's there that has to come out is coming out, because we need to put footings and foundations in, and we don't want anything in there that's gonna compromise it. I don't know if that answers the question, but I think we have yet to do the geotechnical, but we're making some assumptions based on when they leveled the building.
Did DEC have any particular recommendations? I know it mentioned that it was, supported by them, so I don't know if it was their process or what they're involved in.
We heard nothing as a recommendation, but I do think they were just be cautious about what could be there. We know what the building was used for before. And
The report does note that there are several locations that there may be contaminated
it's a
soils.
suspect.
There's like an O&M plan for the site that would have to be compliant with when we do the construction and excavation.
But just north of there were some issues with environmental and soil.
Oh,
Basically where
this,
Clifford's Automotive, the garage is
way up.
a little further up.
Further up,
And
yeah.
across the street over there where the new Captain Bill's building is.
Okay. I'm wondering because there's a new building right here where that, what is it, the
Correct.
cheese? I wonder if they had any issues, because that would be the
Not
closest.
that I know of, and basically what, they took that down all the way to the footers and re-raised the building there.
Okay,
Yeah, they didn't have any, I was on the board when that came through, and there were no issues.
okay. Well, like I
Not
said,
suspecting you'd have much there.
It's been all
Hopefully that
the-
brings us.
yeah, I was gonna say, we hope so too. There is provisions that in case we have to, we will do what it takes for our, I'll say beyond code, we want to do it for our sake too.
That's good foresight.
Yeah.
Could you explain a little bit about the space that's open to the public?
Sure. I could point to this maybe here and you can refer to it there. What I think you're looking at is probably, it should be almost identical to what we're showing here. I think there's only one or two small changes, but I don't need to even point those out. Essentially, vestibule right in the center. So every person that's coming into the building will be coming in through here, the public, let's say, the employees, there are other ways for them to get in, but a person coming in would come in through this vestibule. And what we believe, and I'll speak a little bit about what I know about the building, and you can correct me if anything changed between, but essentially, a person could come in from anywhere from this point all the way to this point to be able to walk in, not necessarily paying any money to go in and see what's beyond the walls, but can come in, look at the displays. There will be retail that might be part of this. Even Watkins Glen talked about either moving their shop over or other retail things. I mean, you get so much donations and there's so many duplicates that occasionally there'll be something for sale, a book or an artifact or something like that. That would be in this general retail space right here. there's this kind of weird little wall that's here. It's
Yeah.
representative of maybe curves or S's or whatever that's up at the track, but it's gonna be an area for other displays. There might be monitors there, there might be just display areas of what Watkins Glen means, both in racing and in the city of Watkins Glen. It may also have additional tracks that are located around the world that might be also part of this, so that it isn't just Watkins Glen, but it is racing, all of racing. And it might not be just car racing, it could be any kind of racing. It could be boat, it could be motorcycle, it could be any number of things. That's this curvy wall and display. If I want to take a walk into the back area, there likely will be admission. And I'm not sure exactly what this is yet. There's still discussion about how much and who and how often and how long it might even take. But there's actually 2 or 3 areas that a person can go into. The first area is, as they come in, they pay here at this booth. There's a door that they can walk in here, or walk into the double doors here. This space here might be a space for car displays, like you see that's out there now. There's room right now for 1, but there may be 2, 3, or 4, or there could be just 1 specialty or a group of cars, or if I've got a collection and I loan it to them for 3 months, it might be located in this big general area.
Okay.
There's a couple of other areas in blue right around the edge. There are other displays that might happen. There might be a particular racer that has a feature. It could be a car that he has. There could be like a little movie that's playing or something, but there are all of these spaces here that you can easily walk into. We also even talked about a simulator, driving simulator, that might be brought in and put into one of these spaces so a person can get the real sense of what it's like and then dial up the Glen track and drive it around it, as part of the experience. Another area right here is it's the theater, all right, and it's tiered seating. And as with this weekend, there's going to be film and videos and things that you can come and watch and do it in the experience of the theater. They're probably going to spend a pretty decent amount of money on both the theater equipment and surround sound. And if you've been to the other areas, it's just a drop down and you sit there and you watch it. But here, there's going to be a little bit more thought to the experience of watching something on film and experiencing the track. If you've ever been to like any one of those movies where the speakers surround all the way around, that's the intention of this room. Whether it becomes that day one or whether it becomes that over time, that's the intention of a room like this.
Like an IMAX theater,
The IMAX, yeah, exactly.
vibrating seats.
Well, and mist and smoke and smell and everything. No, I don't know. A couple of other things. You might be aware, you see all these signs all over about the car that you can win, the Porsche that you can win. There will be a place for that car, which is right down in this prominent corner, right here. And it is the corner of the building, surrounded by windows, so as you drive by, you'll see it, beautiful lights on it. But it's a car on display for one very good reason, and that's to raise money for the place. There's a library, and this would be a library that if I wanted to come and just peruse the library and see what's there, that's where I would be. And it's pretty, the idea, the concept for it, I think they have a library now, but it isn't really a library. It's just a place where, with tables and chairs, and it's not formally a library. We're going to try to make this one a library. There are also some admin and some offices here, and then certainly mechanical spaces. That's really it on the first floor. So other than that, that's what people would allow to see. By going up to the second floor, you'll have permission. There's an elevator or a set of stairs that will get you up there. Anything in this tan line might also be a portion of it that's open to the public when there is an event that's happening in this corner. Other than that, this second floor might be off limits. I think we need it very restricted, especially with the archives.
Can you make sure to send any updated drawings when you have them to the?
Oh, sure. Like I said, there's only 2 changes from what you're seeing there. The word retail, I think it said leasable retail, and there's a couple of doors that were mismarked on the vestibule. That's the only change here. That you've seen. If you got a copy of that, right? That hasn't changed. So, but I will absolutely send the most up-to-date version.
So I have a question about, less to do with the interior, but more so the exterior and
Yes.
our fun topic of setbacks. Dennis knows this all too well. So on the renderings, it's L100 that you shared with us. We can see, thank you, the front setback, which is 10 feet, so that's awesome. There are no side setbacks, and because this is in, what is this in?
You can
DC,
see, yeah.
that's something that we would need to discuss.
I can only share one thing about the position of the building. The position of the building here is exactly the corner of where the old building was. And there was nothing that prevented us from using that as a first marker. And if you look across the way, it's the same thing. Now, we chose this because of the size of the project and to maximize the space. So we started there, we put sidewalks outboard of that, and even a smidge of landscaping where we needed to.
What's the max lot coverage?
Not for village.
You're not for the village center, then you take up the whole thing.
They can do 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, coverage.
Remembering the old building, it was fairly close to 10 feet. And I'm not sure what it was, but it was fairly substantial. But I'm not sure exactly how
On the side?
much it was. On the side, on Second Street.
On the side, in the village area, in the village center area, you've got, we just dealt with this with Jeff Dill's property, right? Where you can go 0 to 5.
Yeah.
So there isn't much of a setback that we have to require.
Okay.
The only thing
Yeah,
that
not on
would consider
Second
there
Street.
though is the proximity, because the 29E is on or over the property line, considering, especially for units, just like making sure that fire access is okay, that those things are not too close with that, because I know that's a parking lot there. And then I know that it's in line with the building across the street, and maybe that's just the 10-foot setback, but in looking at that, I would be kind of worried about view lines, especially if the corner it's jutting out just a little bit more there. So pedestrians and if they're coming up, a pedestrian might be walking by your car, is gonna have to pull out a lot more to be able to even see. So
If you look at the very corner on the right-hand side, and then I'll point it out here in plan, that's why we put the vision windows in there. So again, trying to mimic what was there, even mimicking the openness of what was there in the building before and the openness of the building that's across the way.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be sensitive to that very fact.
Yeah.
With the walkways there too, you're gonna have plenty of vision, I think, as a driver or even as a pedestrian in that area.
Very good, and it's a good point.
I see it all the time, most of the time it happens with landscaping or
Yes.
your buildings that are old, they've been there for a long time, right in that corner.
Yeah.
And you're trying to inch out and there comes someone on their bike or
Yeah.
walking by, so I think the windows will look for that, just wanted to bring that to people's
It's fairly far back.
Maybe
If it's where the old building it's fairly far, it's farther back than it looks on
Yeah.
that.
It's probably better here in this corner than it would be coming out of here doing the same thing.
So on there, you can see he's got some cars already parked in the front of the building, and then it's the road. So there's quite a bit of room there.
Yeah, that's true. So it's
It's a
street
sidewalk,
parking
isn't it?
here, street parking here, and then the road itself is in the center between. So when you're turning from about here and then being able to make it maneuver it. We did a little simulation of that just to make sure, and that's one of the reasons
Yeah.
for the windows.
So Dennis, from the 29E side, with that side setback, because it's a parking lot, would it be okay if we made that the minimum, which is 0? Or,
Yeah, it's up to you guys what you want
Is
to.
the brown is the brown a sidewalk up there, or what is?
The brown is vegetation,
That's all
so it's
vegetation,
a
okay.
screening
Yeah,
vegetation.
it's a street vegetation. If it was another building,
so there would be a space in between your parking lot and 29E,
There's
right?
a buffer.
Yes.
Just a little bit of a buffer.
Correct,
Yeah.
there is a buffer.
As it's drawn here, it's a 5-6 feet buffer in between, with the brown is vegetation.
Okay, all right, so that would probably be fine then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would
if it was another building, it would be a different
Yeah.
story, because you'd get into things like, what they call a party wall, right? So the building on that side of this wall
Yeah.
shared that
This-
wall,
yeah.
so the party line goes right down the middle.
Okay.
And it also acts as a firewall to protect each building from one another. In this situation, you just got a parking lot, so it doesn't really affect anything.
Yeah.
So the people that have the building right there, they'll still be able to have access to maintain that side of the building?
Yes, oh yeah, that's the 5 feet, that's the buffer that we were talking about, exactly that. And plus, they want to maintain it, they need to put it into the parking lot. I mean, I think that's what, I mean, again, the neighborly thing we were talking about earlier, they've been here a little longer, I think they're gonna be really.
I know Bob very well, and
Yeah.
and
They're great.
we're gonna be neighborly.
They're great people.
Bob and Bob.
The other thing, I will say something about even the parking lot and the 30 spots that we're showing. I think we did, we tried, and we were actually very fortunate that we were able to get the parking that we did, the amount of parking that we did, and still have that 5-foot buffer. I think that was clear to us that we needed that.
Was that updated from the L10 that you sent us, the L100, because it says 20?
This is the most up to date. So I'll be honest, this was created, what, yesterday, the day before? I mean, so be aware that this is the most current version of a site plan and in preparation for this meeting. So you will get copies of this.
Okay.
But yeah, feel free to come up, take another closer look if you like, or whatever. I do have other, well, we can leave these certainly, and I also have other additional copies that we can leave with you, the larger ones. So whatever you like, we'll also send the other versions.
I just want to ask, I don't know if it's changed now that this has changed. On the original L100 drawing, it marked deliveries right where the handicap parking spots were, so I was just wondering if that was still the same?
So this area in the middle is a double wide hashed. So there are doors right there for deliveries, but it still acts as handicap access. There wouldn't be anything parked there permanently, but it would be for access to the corridor for the cars.
Just thinking, because vans and stuff that have side loaders need that space, so the van is parked there.
I mean, the majority of the deliveries for the second floor and the archives are gonna happen here. But for the first floor, let's say we've got a catered affair. And depending on whether it's catered down in this lower area or whether it's on the upper area, it might be where they bring it in, but we certainly would account for that during the time when a delivery could be happening, when there's no, or when there's less likelihood of somebody parking during that time. It could be before or during other.
Is that showing room for parking up on Madison as well?
No, this is existing.
Okay.
Up there.
Yeah, well, that's right, we didn't touch that.
Okay.
But
We're not
it is
taking it.
shown,
There are cars that park on that side of the road.
there are cars that park on that side, and we're not doing anything to prevent it.
Okay.
So that's always a,
A wise decision, since no one would pay attention to you anyway.
Is there already like parking blocked up where that second level access will be, like, it
Oh,
starts
right
after
here?
I don't believe that there's street parking that far close to the
Yeah.
intersection.
My only other concern with that intersection on Madison and Second there is the deliveries that come in for Nichols Barbecue, and sometimes we can't even get down that street. But that's not an issue that you guys have to actually address.
down Madison,
Yeah.
further north of Second, is that what you're saying?
Down.
Down, south.
Because they get delivery trucks to Cisco or food,
Yeah.
whatever.
18-wheelers.
Yeah. And it's always, especially in the morning, it's really congested in there. But that's not, you guys shouldn't have to address that.
No, and I don't think we're gonna be having deliveries like that. There may be an instance where somebody brings archive material in, or maybe the initial archives would be loaded from a larger vehicle, but I think provisions would need to be made. We simply block off the street and deal with that for a certain time, and maybe that all happens early in the morning or later in the day after, but fully coordinated, I think is what they talked about.
This is kind of what I was getting at, is if there is parking on that upper side, maybe not necessarily yours, but street parking, you know, a delivery truck can pull in that area, and it wouldn't cause so much congestion.
Correct. There's space and room for box trucks or
Mhm.
pickup trucks or vans or things like that.
Yeah.
And even if there was an 18-wheeler that had to deliver something, it would happen there. Any of the cars that might be in this area here, there's provisions to get them in
Right. Yep.
here, for instance. So they would come around through the parking lot. And then, yeah.
And just a structural question, like what are the dimensions? Like how tall is this building gonna be?
Oh, boy.
That's all.
Two-story. You know what, I apologize, you've got
Can't be
documents you have in front of you, is there sections? I'm gonna ask you to.
Yeah, so
It was hard
Yeah, there is
to-
one.
there's a minimum building height, but it's showing minimum building height there and not on the highest part.
Yeah, can I just take a peek at this? All right, right here, it's on this side. So it looks like 36 feet and then another 3'6" for the corners. That's the highest part here. So there's dimension. If you're looking at this drawing here,
Okay, that one.
and you look all the way to the left-hand side of the upper elevation, there's some dimensions on there.
Okay.
And that would be the tallest part of the building, but again, from this backside, it's 1 story.
And that's a parapet,
Correct.
wall up there,
The
correct?
cornice, yeah.
So the main elevation to the roof deck would be 36.
Yes.
What is the square footage that was determined for this?
We said it was 25,000
25,000.
square feet.
Exactly,
We had a lot, yeah, right, plus or minus a few, but,
It should be, we have to, when we do final approval,
Yeah.
it has to be exact.
all right, we'll get that for you. We had a slightly larger building and it came down to 25,000 and not even 100, so I think it's 25 and some change, so we'll get the exact number for you.
You mentioned something about water going to the storm drain. One of the things that has come up recently is just, during the construction and everything, just making sure that, and I think it's shown here, or maybe not, the downspouts, were they shown in?
They showed us the catch
some of it.
basin, some of them,
Some of them might be,
Yeah, the site plan needs to just show that for us,
yeah.
and the direction they're going in.
The storm drains?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need that
and
information
like where water will be conveyed to.
from them, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and generally speaking, it'll be collected in the parking lot in several spaces, piped to an underground stormwater system, and then out
Probably
to
over there.
the public.
There'll be a holding tank.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the other side, yeah.
yeah. Not a problem, we just need to see it,
Yeah, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Will you have internal roof drains?
So, I believe so. I mean, there was discussion about having this be sloped high in the front and low in the back, but I think we're gonna end up being internal roof drains to roof leaders, and then,
And no scuppers?
no, only scuppers would be for the secondary roof drain, or just to allow for that opportunity for somebody to look up and see that you got water pouring out of there,
Right.
the typical code thing that we see.
And if that is what you end up deciding, it should come for the planning board too, but then it's definitely needs to review for the building permit
Sure.
aspect. But, so any of those conveyance systems, and I know that there's like utility, like a list of utilities here, but like showing where those utilities are in relation to it.
Yes.
And I do have the exact square footage. It's 25,566 square feet.
Thank you. And I lied.
I was say, I know that number was floated out.
No, you were misinformed.
You can't
Well,
ask me.
on one of the documents, you had 2,500,
Yeah.
25, 500.
And that was probably the
And then
most
another one
recent
said,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I think on
yeah.
the special use permit, which was probably the most recent thing you filled out, had the.
Thank you.
The current one, yeah.
As far as your glass in the building, is it, I mean, we gotta get code with it,
Correct.
obviously. But are you doing any kind of tinting or anything like that?
We side of this. There may be a slight variation from side to side, nothing that would be apparent to anybody, but we want to make sure that we address it that way because we're really not looking to put sun shading or anything like that in the building because we don't want to, we want people to see what's going on inside it.
Right.
But we might end up having to do a low E or a slight tint to it that might help, but we're still working that through. I couldn't tell you where we landed, but that's really the idea, the focus of it.
With that eastern exposure one.
Yeah, I know, and it could be,
Yeah.
you're right. So there's a couple of things that maybe aren't apparent, but this one space right here, I don't know if you can see this space here, this is wide open. So we chose to make this wide open, and if you look at the elevation, you're gonna be able to see what's going on up above. You're gonna be able to see this walkway or the bridge that's up above here. And I don't know if you see them, but there may even be provisions to display cars on walls, right in that space, because it's gonna be a very tall volume of space. And I think that the more we can display and entice people, of what the heck's going on in that building, I gotta get in there. I think that's the key, within reason. Yeah. So that's just another feature that we wanted to make sure. And of course, clear glass would be great, but I doubt we're gonna be able to use clear. I think that's gonna have to be some
Yeah, I
kind
think
of.
you have to have a
Yeah.
smoky tent or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to- There's not any design guidelines of it, other than
No,
the solar heat gain
Correct.
factors that, because there's so much glass there,
Right.
you don't wanna have to end up heating that building up with that.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't want to have to,
AC.
we don't want to have to size the AC unit twice as large as it needs to be because of just clear glass. So we will address it where, in the appropriate
And
place.
some of the gases that they use in between the window panes help to knock down that solar heat gain, so you're not getting that hot room in the morning and then, you know.
One thing we won't do is reflective or dark tint. That's not something we want to do, so just be aware of that.
Some buildings that they put up in Ithaca, last 10, 15 years, they had some auto darkening tint. So when it's super bright, it tints it slightly, and then when it's not so bright, and the sun gets above the building, they just go back to like regular glass, so it's, you know.
I'm going to let you in on a design thing that happened on previous versions, but I'm not so sure it may not happen on this one. And this is kind of a unique thing that you know how there's a lot of paintings of races and things like that around Watkins Glen? We have a couple of opportunities, and that elevation doesn't show it, but if you look at this space here and this space here, picture the towers on either end. They're mimicked towers on that. We were even considering doing something that is, it's either a frit or something that's on the glass, you're able to see through it, but it could be a vision like what you're seeing up and down here. So that's just another opportunity for people to see it during the day and say, wow, there's something going on in that building. So that's just unique, and that will help with the solar gain,
Right.
at least on the south end. We don't want to do anything to that elevation, but we would consider both sides, and that's something we could do at some point in time, but not anything that, I think we would still need to go for permits, putting something like that on the side of the building, but you hear about it now, but it might be just another opportunity to embellish the building a little bit.
Because this is such a large building, probably one of the largest, right, that we're gonna have
most
on
likely.
Main Street. And you mentioned at the onset that it'll be public utilities, right? Water. What is your estimation, I guess, for, water usage? Are you planning on using energy efficient materials? Is that part of the plan? Just thinking about the taxpayers in the village. What are your thoughts?
The answer was when we first started the project, even way back when it was an addition to the other, that was a concern.
Yeah.
For the very reason you just mentioned. We had a little discussion about this a little bit earlier today, and the answer is there will be provisions to use less water, to use really high efficiency lighting in here, certainly LEDs, or, if you think about it, this room is kind of almost evenly lit. we don't need that in a place like this. We want to embellish things, we want spotlights that shine on certain things, or the displays are different lighting. So the answer is, I think we need to be strategic with how we put lighting in and how much energy we use. Low flow toilets, all of that stuff are certainly mandated anyway, and so
Yeah.
there's certain criteria we can't get around. So the answer is, I think, anything and everything we can do to keep the taxpayers from having to pay for additional.
So this building here, by the time you get everything around, you're gonna be complying with the new set of codes.
There you go. We may be forced to doing some of the things that are optional now, but the truth is, it's fine.
Once 2025 rolls around, 2026, I'm sorry, the 2025 codes come into effect. So, you know, there'll be some things in there that they've got to comply with as far as like water usage, toilet types of toilets.
We have already, we've already looked into what that code means for this building. We've done a search already and said, all right, what's the changes that might happen if we were to have designed it in 25 or 24? What has to happen now?
Okay,
The answer is
great.
definitely of concern to us too. If you don't know much about SWBR, we are of high sustainability. We have a reputation where I would say the majority of the projects we work on have gone through a sustainability, if not a LEED criteria checklist. And that's something that we do on every single project, this one included. So it goes through kind of a rigorous set of people looking at this and understanding how we're putting it together, and then, okay, here's the things that we can do for this.
Great, thank you.
Will you, or could you, I should say, submit a com check for Revit?
I think we have to, don't we?
I believe so.
I believe we do, so that's part of standard,
That was
that's the
big
standard
question.
operating
Set you up.
procedure on every job. So when we submit this for building permit, you will get the contract.
How long, do you have an estimation for how long construction would take?
18 to 24 months.
Was that not?
Knock on wood, yeah.
I'm sorry?
I just knocked on wood, you know.
Okay. Oh, knock on wood.
Yeah, just to make
We're
it,
hoping. Yeah.
If all goes through, how soon would you be looking to be able to get this project started?
I would say, I'm going to be very honest. I would say first quarter of next year, we'd likely have documentation, maybe into the second quarter, so that obtaining a building permit and all the rest of it, I think would be seen somewhere between the first and second quarter of 2026. So there's a little bit that's got to happen. I mean, we're here for one very important reason, and that is to see if we can get approval so we can go after some funding that can help get that party started. To be perfectly honest, we've all been waiting for that to happen. If all goes well and we can receive whatever we need to get the grant money in, I think we'd be in shape to start almost immediately. We've got a team ready to go that are all car guys, so they all been working on this in their heads forever. And they just said the same thing. They're also architects and engineers that have a passion for what's going on here.
Well, just to know, is there interest in going after other New York State funding aside from the one that we're submitting for in January? Just knowing that those typically take, you have the application period before you're even notified, and then even longer than that to get the funds out.
Margaret, I think you can.
Yeah, we're not ruling that out, but right now our focus is on the URI funding and then private sector funding and we will be seeking some bank financing to make sure that we can ensure that construction is not delayed, that we know the grant funding comes in last. We are in conversations right now with 3 financial institutions, and all have indicated they're interested in supporting the project and providing that funding.
your floodplain, but we've been hearing a lot of issues, particularly about like Madison, the Second Street area having flooding issues, so is there a noted, like, history of flooding in this area, even if it's not really in a floodplain? Are you aware of any of that? Any runoff coming, down the steep slopes there at all?
I mean, there's absolutely gonna be a bunch of water coming down Second Street. here.
Second Street, yeah.
Gravity.
Yes,
And
gravity
that's not
always
your
wins.
jurisdiction.
There are some gutters along Second Street on the lower portion here next to our site, along with some drains. The condition of them, I can't speak to, I haven't seen it in the daylight, but extending those down, adding some more drainage would definitely help with any runoff coming down Second Street here. Coming up Madison Avenue, there will be under drains, and,
At the retaining wall.
at the retaining wall, and loop walls and stuff like that, so there won't be a ton of pressures coming through that way. And that'll all get drained to the storm water system and then out to the public system.
The last time we had any problem in that area was more because the storm drains were covered with weeds.
A common problem. Happens a lot.
Yeah, because it was that intersection that was flooded,
Yeah.
This intersection here?
that intersection.
Yeah.
was flooded.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's FYI.
Yeah, not so much like, what do you do, just, so you're aware that if there is like flowing water there, of course, you're going from it's probably not completely impervious, because I know that there used to be a building there, but you're going from a pervious surface to an impervious surface, so just those considerations of where that water is gonna end up on your property, or if people are trying to get there and you have your corner flood.
Understood.
Yeah, there are a couple over here, but yeah, as you said, if we, let the village know if there's maintenance required on any of those, there's a bunch of leaves blocking it, that's certainly something.
Yeah, I think that's like the low point, that intersection, so if there's a lot of rainfall, I'm sure I'm gonna kind
It goes like
Yeah.
this around the corner,
Yeah.
so
so.
definitely right around there.
Just wants to go back someplace.
We keep putting buildings in the way.
I know. They were there first.
All in all, I think it's a wonderful project. I think it's going to be an enhancement to downtown.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Biggest thing is getting it done safely and correctly.
Well, I don't know, either of you would know, would they need any special permits or anything from the DOT, because this is
If they have to cut the
And that's
curb,
something I
then
was
yes.
gonna-
So there is an existing curb cut
Yeah,
that we can
Yeah.
utilize. So
Okay.
we wouldn't need to necessarily do anything on the DOT side, we would coordinate with them
okay.
for traffic if it's determined that this would increase traffic over the amount that they're
okay.
expecting.
If you've got the curb cut, then you're in luck, you're in luck.
And we're keeping it, because it's golden. Yeah.
It is extra wide there too.
Yeah.
But our driveway is,
I don't think the traffic will be any worse than what it normally is.
Oh,
No,
You know,
no, can't be.
we have,
Well, not in the summer anyway.
when we have race traffic and summer traffic, and then you got, your weekend
Vintage.
traffic, it's,
Yeah.
people are gonna be all slowed down, they'll be able to see right
That's
inside.
perfect, actually,
That's
they'll be stopped right in front of there
exactly
for several cycles to that.
If it's a traffic jam, they could just get out, and take a little fun.
I did want to also bring up, so we mentioned DOT, DEC, just checking in with them, but there was mention that you're either abutting or you're in a historic district. I know Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historical Places is very particular about what's in view of the things, so I would just make sure that you're in correspondence with them as well, especially if you're in a National Register of Historic, districts.
Absolutely, we would submit this to SHPO anyways, any project.
Right, and I will tell you this, that the versions that no one ever saw didn't comply. And the truth was, we took out and took a look at every building up and down Franklin and said, okay, this is what's been approved up till now, but that doesn't mean anything. Then we went to what the code says and the materials that the code says and the amount of windows and everything about it. And then we made this genuinely, our intentions were to comply so that there really wasn't going to be an issue with that. But thank you.
They'll
for
find
bringing-
one.
And that's
Disagree with
okay.
the reason.
That's okay, we have worked through and justified a lot of what we've done in chapter and verse, so we're familiar with how to deal with it. And honestly, if we have advice of somebody that just wants something a certain way, you know what, sometimes we gotta do it, and that's not out of the question.
I have no questions. Yeah. The building itself is similar to another project that didn't get built because they couldn't find the funding on this site, but the building is situated pretty much where they were going to put it, and it's a similar size. And we went through a whole very elaborate process to get that approval, but when they couldn't get the funding, that just didn't happen. So I don't see any reason, but this looks fine to me.
And that's something that we're gonna consider too. There's certain steps of the process that will like trigger like a countdown pretty much. But there's also like a provision of the code that if you don't build something within a year, you have to come back before us. So we really would like to like, at the same way that you guys probably wanna get this wrapped up, so, but just keeping that in the know, like, if we give a conceptual, like, we like this plan, there's still gonna need to be those other things. And if we get the approval, but you're still waiting for funding beyond that point, it's something you have to come back for. If you make changes, if you know, we approve of site plan and then OP, RP, whatever their acronym is, comes back and you have to change site plan, those things have to come back before the board for amendment. So just keeping that in mind when you're.
We're aware.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
familiar with that process.
We've done this before, but the truth is, I think this is step A in getting all of this happening. So if this is approved, then step B falls into place, and step C, and then hopefully we'll see a building in 18 to 24 months, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's our goal, is to start construction as soon as we can.
Anybody else?
No, I mean, I think this is great. There's a couple of things that we would need to get in front of us, right, before we can move forward. Like, we need a site plan. You submitted the special use permit, but we still need a site plan showing.
The site plan application.
Site plan application,
Yeah,
got
site
it.
plan
Yeah,
application
yeah.
with that fee structure as well.
Yeah.
Preliminary approval.
Right.
And those could be combined in the same way as the last one, the site plan approval.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, I wanted to confirm what the special use that you're requesting is, because there's a bunch of different things that this building will include, but I was kind of playing a guessing game at what it was. What is triggering the special use for this?
I think it's a museum.
Yeah, it's a
The
museum. So it's a
And the
community
museum and
space.
the theater is a
Community
community
space.
center, okay.
Yeah.
That was my assumption, but I wanted to make sure that was.
Well, my question on the community center was this, is this for profit or not for profit?
Not for profit.
So then that falls in the realm of that community.
No.
So-
Which is why I wanted to confirm, because
No,
there's some different.
it's a great
I
question.
that's the exact question, because if it's for profit, then that falls in a whole different
Yeah,
aspect.
no, this is not for profit.
But yeah, I mean, the full site plan, so any of the changes on the documents you've made, and then it's noted here as well, so in the special use, they want 300 within properties, structures, anything like that, within 300 foot. Site plan review requires 500 foot, so showing the marker what's within the 500 foot. So we didn't have something like this one before, so we'll need that before we can send those on. And then if you want to just look through the site plan and major site plan review steps, and if those things are satisfied.
Yeah, we need soil logs. Well, maybe we won't use soil logs.
So, and that's something we
Yeah.
can do right now too. So the planning board can waive certain requirements, particularly for the major site plan review, they want like a natural resource inventory. This is in the middle of the village, I don't know that you need to do that, so if you feel so compelled,
No.
I would maybe, again, like, as a checklist run through, what do we require that is missing that they need to know about, and what are the things that you're willing to waive? And are there additional things that you wanted to request that are not in there or are as applicable?
So the site plan application process, material, we need that. And this rendering would be fine, I think. The land survey, we don't need the soil, I mean, do we
No.
want the soil logs?
No.
There's no well, so we don't have to worry about that. Stormwater runoff calculations, I think.
That's checking how much, like, the ground can, like, absorb
Yeah.
the water where that water.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think we need
Because,
that.
yeah,
If it's
we
lined to
don't.
conveyances.
Yeah.
We don't, and when they're starting it, and if there's some kind of environmental problem underneath the concrete, then that, you know,
And that will be.
that's in a
DEC
different,
review.
yeah,
Correct.
that's a DEC, so,
And we want it out of there.
Great.
yeah.
And we don't need a detailed traffic study.
No. But was there
No.
an initial, there was like mention of an initial parking study or something to that effect? Is that something that can be provided to the board, or some sort of traffic?
I don't think so. It was.
There was a mention in the narrative of, or one of the documents, that there was like some sort of like parking study done, like an initial parking study.
The only thing I can tell you is that we provided the number of parking spots per the square footage, and then there was conversation about, so where does the rest of the parking happen? And I think we were able to demonstrate that it's everywhere within walking distance of, I mean, you all know where the
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
parking is, and
Yeah, well-
that was the initial conversation, and we didn't, and we've heard that that should not be an issue.
Yeah, it was on the-
Able to demonstrate.
The narrative
Yeah, it's not
section.
allowed to be an issue.
Okay, thank you.
It's a village issue, but it's not an issue for you.
Right.
Yeah, it's in the fourth paragraph of the narrative write-up. It says an initial parking study indicates the amount of parking available on the site, 28 spaces current. I'm assuming there's supposed to be an is within the confines of the building in safe geography. So I wasn't sure if that was the parking study or if there was a parking study like
Well,
transportation impact study.
I believe that this refined it to 30 spots. just so
It's
you
not
know.
30.
Yeah.
Not that the two doesn't mean too much, but it's just been refined once
Yeah.
Ben took a look at this and got a little
Yeah,
more
I'm-
creative.
I'm not terribly concerned about that.
Yeah,
Does that include the spots in front of the building?
No, that's just in the parking lot itself. We can't include those because they're not dedicated for, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are comfortable with the level of information that's provided about the traffic and the parking, you can.
I am, yeah. Yeah, when we had that big, the apartment complex, they had to come up with a big plan for how
And
they
that
were
was-
gonna deal with
They had
that.
to get one, so they had, that was like required.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are-
so.
yeah.
And they dumped this like 30-page thing on us, it was amazing
We don't want to do that again.
how they were going to deal with it.
So going back to this list then, we didn't talk about this, but there are some, in the code, or in the zoning law, excuse me, outdoor lighting requirements. So that's something, I don't think you saw that anywhere. It was provided.
Oh,
We'll have the outdoor lights.
there's provisions for two types of lighting.
Okay.
One would be parking lot, low-level parking lot lighting,
Okay.
and then building lighting. I don't know if you can see much, but there's signage, there's flags that are around either on the building or off to the side. There's a little, kind of a little park here. So there's, I want to say there's more feature lights than anything.
Okay.
It isn't this huge illumination. that
Okay.
we're
I can see lamps on
Yeah.
the picture
Yeah.
there.
And presumably the parking lot lighting is dark sky compliant?
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, the flag signage, that's just make sure that Dennis said no
Correct.
up to code.
I think there's 3 flags. I think that's what's showing up there, and that's the intention, is to put 3 flags.
Another thing to talk about was waste management, trash management plan.
There's provisions for that. Isn't there a?
There's an area down here,
Yeah, okay.
towards the auditorium where you can have, you could put
So it'll be
a
driving in
dumpster
and-
or you could put any sort of town.
Okay. And snow removal.
This area right here can be used for snow removal from both sides. Right here in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yep.
Okay, so were there any that they have yet to provide? Other than the, what?
I mean, if they could just put in writing, I guess, the snow and the
Yeah,
waste.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do.
I'll assume we're gonna get a list, right?
Yeah, we can send you a list.
I don't have paper and pencil in my
That's
hand,
fine.
and I don't have a great memory, but if you guys can provide something, that would be awesome, and we can take it back, provide whatever we need, and get it to you as quickly as we can.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was there anything else? that we-
You guys are comfortable with that, that works for me.
Okay.
If you feel that at this stage it's complete, like the application materials are, we can wait for the new drawings to come in, and I can send that along to the county to get that on their radar. And then if you feel that now's an appropriate time, you can schedule the public with it still being conceptual and stuff like that. So if we want to, we should decide that now. Do we want to refer it to the county now? Do we feel like it's appropriate? And then do we feel good about having a public hearing at the next meeting, which would be next one?
Although we have to change the day of the,
It's,
I think we already changed
That's
it,
already
yeah.
done.
yeah. Well, personally, I think we'd give at least preliminary approval and a public hearing. I wish it wasn't so close to Christmas because, you know, I would, yeah, that's when we,
No, that's good natured, they'll come in with happy moods, we'll have that.
with joy and cheer.
Are we allowed to do that? Hot chocolate?
What did we do for,
Is that a bribery?
No,
Well, I guess it would actually.
friendly, it's what we
You
do.
really want the site plan application.
yeah, I think we need the site plan
Oh,
application
yeah.
because we don't have that.
yeah, we don't,
So we would need the site plan application before we can give the preliminary
yeah,
approval.
okay,
So we can send to you all the comments that we have for things that, you know, just
yeah,
the few
Okay.
things that need to be added to the packet. And then at the next meeting, we could, if everyone is in agreement,
yeah,
right, potentially approve it, and open the public hearing then, and that will bring us into January,
yeah.
at which point, the public hearing will be in January, and then hopefully then, if not that January meeting, definitely the February meeting, we would be able, hopefully, to approve, unless there is, you know, a lot of public concern.
Which I don't think they
Which
will
we
be.
doubt. It's also January, so, brand.
Does that work with our, I'm just asking Margaret, is
So I
that,
just want to be clear, are you able to do preliminary approval tonight or no?
I would say we could do like a conceptual approval.
Yeah, that's what I
It's a
meant.
little bit tiered, so, like, the concept, and from speaking with Judy, like, conceptually, having the planning board on board with that should be sufficient for the purposes of applying for the grant, as like, to show that the planning board's
Yeah.
on board. And then that way, at least, that gets them rolling with that, so you can submit, and if things time out right, if you have preliminary or a final approval, you can send those along. But that way you're not constrained by a final full site plan approval. So I think if you're supportive of that, I would do accept it as a concept. And then you could use that, and we can, if you would like a formal resolution or a letter or something like that, we can draft that for you.
So we
And
can't,
conditional site plan approval.
we can't schedule a public hearing without the site plan application.
I wouldn't, because it's not fully complete. I don't
Until
know
we have to-
what happens with
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
having a site plan application just be filled out, that be paid as well. Again, just maintaining the same thing that we did for Mr. Dill last application.
Yep.
And then that would be your full application packet. If we receive it ahead of time, I'll send it out to the county as soon as we get those documents, so we don't have to wait to send it out to the county for the next meeting. But the public hearing should probably wait until you guys feel set on that, but a concept, an acceptance of the site plan as a concept.
Is it possible that I just fill out the application right here and submit it to you? We went some, I wasn't unclear that I needed to fill out another form in order to get site plan approval.
Yeah, so there's a site plan application, and then there's a special use permit, so this falls under a major site plan. And so it needs to go through that process, and we set up, as of the last application, they had a similar instance where they had to do a site plan review and a special use permit. The village determined that they need to fill out both applications and submit the payment for both those applications, so in order to keep that consistent. So if you wanted to fill out the site plan, we still would need the payment, I believe. That's not my realm, so no. However, the village handled that in the past.
I mean, I can fill out the application tomorrow and give you the check. Is it just $100 like the other one?
Well, we would still have to meet, right, after that, to review the complete packet with everything you know, these new renderings included. And I mean, I don't know how it works, you know, if we wanted to meet, it would be up to, you know, if we want to have a special meeting
Yeah.
just to approve that, then it would be up to the board to decide if we want to do that.
So pick a date for that, give adequate notice, and I know that we're getting to the holidays, so.
Yeah. So we could do that potentially, and is it 1 week at least, or
10 days.
10 days? So if you wanted to submit it, let's say tomorrow or Friday, we would, Monday would probably be the earliest, and then it's 10 days, and then we have to look at our
Okay,
calendars.
so in order to get it published in the paper, this special meeting, at this point, I would have to know by Friday to get it published in for Wednesday, which means you couldn't have that meeting any sooner than next Wednesday, but then we have Thursday and Friday off because it's Thanksgiving, so we're pushed into the first week of December anyway.
So it'll be like December 3rd, or
It'll be the Wednesday.
the first week in
The
December.
first week in December would be the third.
So, and our regular meeting will be scheduled for the 17th, December.
24th, but we've already moved it to the 17th.
17th, yeah.
So I don't know if the 2 weeks makes a difference to you or not.
I just want to clarify something. Doesn't this have to go before the county plan?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
where is that step in if you have a public hearing?
So we need to have a full application to send on to the county, and then that goes on to their agenda. They meet, so, we might be able to get it into them, I think they normally meet early in the month, so we might be getting it close to their timeline to get it even on their December one, so, and ultimately, no decision can be made by the board until the county approval is had. So it just depends on how their timeline goes. I think they want it in at least 2 weeks prior, if the referral's happening to their meeting. And I don't know how that's falling with their holiday. And so that may or may not be on their December meeting, but the public hearing can go on regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, I can, and then we could,
If the, yeah, I think that it falls appropriately.
and if we host a public meeting, we agree that everything is complete, we can always give approval contingent upon the county if that hasn't happened. No,
Not on the county approval,
Not the
no.
county.
You cannot do
No,
a
we
conditional
can't.
approval on the county, that's the one thing.
Oh, that's the one we can't,
You're not,
okay.
yeah.
All right,
They-
so we would
they
still have to come back again then.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
regardless, and in some of the ones that just done local determination, I think because the size, they'll probably will have comments, so it will rely on them having a meeting and having comment. And then, if they have particular comments, those might need to be considered and so on and so forth. So we'll try to get that into them as soon as possible, so if they have comments, those can be reflected, but I know we're getting into like where the timelines get really weird with November and December.
Yeah.
So you let us know if you are able to get the site plan and materials in by Friday. We could potentially meet on December 3rd. Otherwise, we'd be meeting on December 17th, which is our regular scheduled meeting.
Was it fair to assume that Dennis would be getting all this information? So Dennis, you could notify us.
So we go on this, probably
Yeah,
now for the whole special meeting.
yeah,
Yeah, right after that.
yeah.
I mean,
If all that information can be submitted
You won't be
tomorrow,
here.
Friday.
I think we should assume that the information will happen.
yeah.
All night.
I think I have some homework.
And then, so would the intention be for December 3rd to review all the material at that
Yes.
point? Consider the full application complete?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we still have the public hearing.
And you still have to schedule the public hearing out.
So let me ask a question about December 3rd. What could we walk away with on December 3rd? Let me ask that question. Is that a preliminary
Concept approval, right?
concept approval?
Well, we can give.
No, we can get concept approval
Concept
today.
can happen right now, but
Okay,
that
you
does
can
not,
get concept.
yes,
But
because that
this is-
doesn't, that's not reliant on the county, this is just the planning board saying, we like this as a concept. So
Okay.
that can happen tonight.
And Judy, is that
And it will.
okay? Okay.
Is it, yeah, if that's enough for you, I would prefer to do this on December 17th and not have a special meeting.
Because only, I don't know that it would particularly,
I don't think it's gonna.
No.
no,
Speed
because
anything
the
along.
county meeting is still happening,
The
they're
county
left
meeting is December 11th.
11th, that's what I was thinking, right?
So we would need to.
So we would need to meet on the
we would
3rd
need to-
so that
yeah,
we
I was gonna
could,
say,
so the county could,
Well, no, it needs to be submitted to the county, like, that's too close, the 3rd to the 11th is, they need it, like, 2
So it wouldn't
months
matter
plus.
anyway.
well, we can move faster, why can't they?
And then they have,
Maybe they can.
they
Never
have the required 30 days to provide their comment between. So I don't think that it usually moves 2 weeks later. The only, I guess it would just be determining the public hearing if you had the special meeting on the 3rd, you could just set
The public
this
hearing.
hearing for the 17th. So the only thing it would be kicking up the public hearing. But I don't know if you want that to align with being closer to approval, getting the county comments back.
So the county approval would happen, or their review would happen in January then? If it's too close for them, you know, if we do this on the 3rd and then the 11th.
So if I have the materials, we don't need to,
Yeah.
But we could always meet the week after Christmas
so
if we
this,
had
what
to.
I did with like the Dill one, for example, I had sent it out to the county and I sent them additional
Not the 31st.
materials, like to supplement when they changed, like when they had made the changes to like the documents, I sent those on to the county afterward. So I could send them to the county, especially if they get them Thursday, Friday. Once those are received, I can just send the package to the county.
That'd be great.
At the 17th meeting, accept the full packet
Yeah.
if everything's received, and then schedule the public hearing for January. And at that point, hopefully receive, because if the county meeting happens before, we might have a county response by the 17th.
Oh, so that might be helpful too.
Yeah.
So is that possible, Liv?
I think so. This is a lot to try and math in my head. I think that that's appropriate, because I can send the packet, especially if you give the site plan application, and I don't need to know about the money. So as long as I get the site plan application, if you want to send over the extra drawings, I'll send a referral to the county regardless. And then hopefully that will be, I think that's plenty of time before the next meeting.
Yeah.
To be on that agenda
All
for
right, so
them.
we're keeping it at the 17th
Yeah.
for December, and then still the public hearing in January. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so it sounds like meeting earlier is not going to really speed it up or
Yeah.
help at all.
Yeah,
right?
meeting 2 weeks.
But if, so our meeting on the 17th, we might have heard from the county at that point.
Right.
So at least you would
So
have
that would
the
be
county
good for
comment
our-
if there is any, or you would know that they are like whatever.
From the 11th to the 17th, is what I think you're saying.
Yeah, so the county meeting would happen on the 11th, by the 17th. We're gonna move at the very least, if they don't respond by then, 30 days, or whatever their time,
Yeah.
we'll have that anyway, so.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the 17th.
Yep.
But the plan will still be, we will send you what you need to complete the site application packet, and you can submit that to us by Friday. Great.
And as soon as that's received, I'll send that on.
Okay, just so you're aware, our office closes at 1:30 on Fridays.
Okay. My office does not, so if you want to email whoever has been, probably Dennis and Barb or whoever, and myself, if you want to just send it to all of us in the email, I will be in the office on Friday. So irregardless, I can send it out to the county, just include me on the email. So that I don't
Just to be clear, you have to send me something to fill out, and then I have by Friday to complete it.
You have a copy of the site plan application?
Site plan application, I think is online, correct?
Yes.
Can you help with this?
Yeah.
Find out.
I can double check.
Yeah.
Online.
It's
All right.
online.
It might have been wrong.
It is online.
Okay.
And what we're gonna send to you are the things that we want
The
you to.
additional
Identify.
wastewater and.
Yeah, so that's more for like what should be done in the site plans or any changes there.
Okay, and that list I have is the lighting, snow, and waste removal.
Yes.
That's it, those
I
three.
find the special use like.
And the updated site.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's okay, just because I think it's important that we know what's ahead of us if we're working on like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there nothing else we need just to make sure? So just lighting, snow, waste removal?
Yeah,
The
the
rendering
utilities,
as here looks fine because it's 500 feet, it looks like.
if you feel that gives a much better idea, because we were looking at just the building and not what was next to it, so.
And what was
And
the
the
other thing,
wastewater.
utility?
They outlined like the utilities, so just showing the poles and like the runoff, like where the stormwater is, like the downspouts, or whatever they end up deciding, if it's the, what, I don't know the technical jargon, the inner roof, whatever is decided.
Interior.
So, and another reason why this is like conceptual and not preliminary is we have some of these like questions or things have been tweaked, so, like, once, if we're getting ready to do a final approval, whenever that is, if January, February, whatever, everything needs to be locked down, so, again, that square footage, I know we got the number tonight, square footage, the layout, all that stuff, because once that's locked in, that's locked in, and if it changes, it has to come back for the board.
Understood. I'm pretty sure this is it.
Long enough.
Yeah,
Lots of work.
it is, it's very long.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
For the conception?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, motion to accept the conceptual site plan for International Motor Racing Research Center, project at 109, 111 North Franklin.
I'll second.
All right.
No, no, your turn.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No. It's unanimous. Okay, just put that.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate
And
it.
Oh, sure.
Thank you for your patience.
would you like, like a formal letter or like a resolution saying the like the conceptual plan has been
Yeah.
approved? Okay.
Yeah, that would be terrific.
Thanks for being so accommodating. I think you understand the importance and the timelines, and this board has done a superb job in trying to make this happen. So I really do appreciate it on behalf of all of us here. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no,
Well, thank you for building something there.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of just,
Really nice work.
I was so excited to see that this was on that
Okay.
part.
Who's writing,
How is-
okay, Liv, who's writing the letter?
I can draft it. Are you still acting as chair, or is it?
I'm the chair, I'm still the chair until the end of December.
Okay. So I can send it along to you and have you, perpetuate the lane or whatever.
Okay, sure.
But I can, we just listed draft it.
The likelihood that I'll, since I'm retiring, that I'm gonna change much in it is extremely slim.
And I'll maybe just have you have like, I don't know, well, I think you do something before. I'll confirm, but I can draft the resolution and make sure that it encompasses everything.
Okay, sure, sure.
Application.
Feel free.
Oh, yeah, so our next order of business is approval of the minutes for October. Okay.
Motion to approve the minutes from the October meeting?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm
Nobody's names with this spell?
because I wasn't there.
No, you still can vote.
Oh, I can still vote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then aye.
Yeah. You're still allowed to vote.
No
Don't
names
ask me
found,
why,
uh,
but you're still allowed to vote.
No discussion.
Because you can read the minutes in front of you.
Lord knows I did.
What are we leaving with, you guys? We have boards, we
If
also
you'd like to
have.
leave when you can.
Yeah, oh, I'd like to know what you, I also have rolled-up drawings as well, so additional.
These two copies, a little more
I think
portable.
it's mostly up to Dennis, because he's gonna be the one that's gonna be stuck with all of them, and so he can figure it out.
Dennis, how would you like to receive?
I am from the meeting.
If you will be receiving.
Any other board
electronic,
concerns?
That's not an issue, I just would
No.
like us to
Okay,
leave.
motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're out.
Are you sure, Emily, you still want to join the board?
You had a good question.
She hasn't run away yet,
Something
so,
with them, but if these are.
looks like she's a keeper.
No, we're good. I'm excited about this project. I hope the timeline works out for them.
I know, I was just like trying to get everything done for the holiday.
I know.
It sounds like if we can get everything by Friday, push it along real good.
Questions, any other comments?
Thank you, Barb, for taking some great notes.
I know once everything's approved.
Well, I think everybody is motivated.
Structural.
Yeah, I mean, I think also from the
Right now, I'm playing
we
with
learned.
Walmart.
You know, I'll tell you a couple things we do, and if it's okay with you.